And welcome back, of course. It's time to get up close and personal right here on Alpha Jiri. And I'm joined by a person who, when you look at his lifespan and what he's done in there, I mean, there's so many interesting stories to tell. From, starting off, as a matatu tout, alikuwa kange mali to doing his thing, uko Limuru. He's become a farmer. He became a waiter. But when you fast forward to where he is now, worlds apart and doing different things, a leading media entrepreneur, a philanthropist as well, and of course the founder of Talanta Institute. I'm talking about Paul Mukoma. Karibu sana, sir.
Asante sana.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. It's good to be here.
Asante
to meet you.
Likewise, likewise.
Yeah.
And when I talk about those days of, being a kange,
yes.
Apo Limuru,
yes.
What comes to your mind?
What comes to my mind is possibilities that are there in life. That when you see a young person, you can almost not tell where they will end up. There is potential and there is a lot of hope, regardless of where you are. So it teaches me that it doesn't matter where you start. Provided you have a vision, you have a dream. I would say like Lupita Nyong'o, that your dreams are valid. True. Yes. Yeah.
And even at that particular time, because for you, you knew you wanted to become an entrepreneur, but you didn't know which specific area you want to specialize in.
Yes.
And at times, very many young people have that same problem, because anataka kufanya biz, but hajui biz gani.
Hajui where to start. Yeah, it's a dream. Like I said, life always starts as a dream. And a dream sometimes is not clear. And that is why, as it gets clear, it becomes a vision, and that's what you build on. So at that time, I didn't know what I wanted. When I cleared high school, I didn't get good grades. I didn't go to campus. So I wanted to start a business, charcoal business, because I was with my cousin who had read Jenga Karume's book, how he started from charcoal to gold. So we thought now that we live near a forest, we can turn the charcoal into gold. But that business didn't take off. But that tells you I had an entrepreneurial mind, and I knew I wanted to do business. I wanted to become great in life. But I wasn't clear how. At some point, I wanted to become an engineer. At some point, I wanted now to buy a fleet of matatus and become a big guy in the transport business. That didn't happen. But what I've learned is hard work pays. Whether you know your vision or you have a plan, if you really work hard at whatever you get, you'll end up being successful. So whatever your hands find it to do, you have to do it with all your might. You have to hustle. You know what people call hustle and push and work hard. Yeah, that's what I've discovered.
And even for you, during that particular time, because yes, you're working hard. You tried the charcoal business in a chapa. You decided to tell Mzee, come together, let's put our money together, we get a matatu, we see how it works out. That doesn't work out as well. After, a succession of failures, even that spirit ya kuhustle mtu anza kushindwa, probably I'm just not meant to do business.
No, I think those experiences are very important. Failure is not final and is not fatal. And that's why you need to have what they call a thick skin. You need to be, you need to have some resilience in you that you can move from failure to failure. That's what success is. You're moving from failure to failure without losing momentum or without losing your enthusiasm. So what I say is you can fail in one thing, but you should not be discouraged. Or when your first business fails, you should not say, like, I'm not wired for business. You should have, that strength within you that tells you, I can still make it. And when you keep pushing, it works eventually. But if you give up the first time, there's nothing that makes it, at the beginning. Even when you're a kid, you're walking. The kid starts walking, falls down. True. You don't tell a kid now, oh, please don't try walking. You're not wired to walk, grow for the rest of your life. So is life. That you try walking, you fall down, try walking again, you use a seat to walk. That's how a kid grows and develops. So is every business or every venture or even every job. You start down there. You start by trying. Sometimes even try and error. Until you make it. So you don't give up. Just like a kid who wants to walk. You never tell a kid, give up. So you never tell yourself that give up because you have failed on your first venture. Yes.
That's a very interesting example to use, especially for people who are looking for encouragement to move forward.
To move forward.
You need to remember, because we all learned how to walk that same way. No one was born and learned how to walk.
Many times.
You fell, you got a bruise.
Many times,
You had to hold on to the stool.
To hold on and keep trying, and your parents are helping you at some point. Some point they will let you try, and fall down and watch you fall, and you're like, rise again. But there is always hope that my kid will walk. this kid will rock. And eventually it happens. Yes.
And for you, how did you eventually get into the media space? After trying all, your hands in all of these various businesses.
It's very interesting because I didn't figure out what I wanted to do early in life. So I went to a college. The same cousin who had read
Charcoal to Gold.
Charcoal to Gold.
That guy.
Mind you, it's not me who read the book. He read for me. So that tells you, who I was in school. So I joined him in college. He had gone to college to do food and beverage. So when he graduated, he got a job at a hotel, a good 5-star hotel. So because I had really hustled in the village, tried matatu, tried farming, it wasn't working. And I looked at people in the village and I was like, this is how I want to end up in life. So I really thought, and I'm like, I need to move to the city. Whatever means it will take. I need a way of going to the city and seeing what opportunities are there. So I went to the same college he went to, did food and beverage, got a job in a hotel as a waiter. And I worked a bit in the hotel, and then I lost my job. In fact, the last job in the hotel, I was fired. And I always say I was fired into my destiny, because if I wasn't fired, I don't know where I would be. So I was fired, and that's when I met Mr. Juguna, who was my former lecturer in college. So he had a side hustle of doing photography. So when I met Juguna, I told him, I'm hustling, I'm looking for a job. Then he was like, why don't we try photography for the time being? Because at that time, he needed an assistant. So I went in and became his assistant. I didn't have a choice at that time. And I had never thought about media business. So when I joined him, started learning photography, I was like, wow, this is amazing. He's doing very good pictures. It's not like the cameraman I used to see in the village. So I joined him. He trained me in photography, then in video. Then I started volunteering in the church. We were doing a TV program. Then eventually I was a producer of this TV show. And when I was doing those TV shows, I met musicians like Esther Wahome, Kina Angela Chibalonza those days. Jimmy Gate. I actually nurtured him from, from when he came from a village. He actually lived in my house for some years. So that's how I got into media. And I produced many big gospel music videos, eventually produced the State House Choir and other TV programs. So that has been my journey in media. And when I was still doing media, I started training guys. Guys from college started joining me. They interned, some of them. So some of them we employed them and became our cameramen and editors. And that's how the dream of starting a school was born. Yes.
And for very many people, once you realize probably this is the trajectory you want to take, you go to school to learn those things. For you, you learned on the job.
Yes.
And when it comes to business, do you think going to school properly equips you for what you find on the ground? Kama hustler, because you learned hapo kwa biashara yenyewe.
Yes.
Can they compare what you learned in the classroom and what you face on the street or in your meeting?
Let me answer you this way. If I had an opportunity, I would have gone to school. But I didn't have an opportunity. And so I'll answer your question in two ways. If you have an opportunity, go to school, because it's what you learn in school. But going to school is not enough. There's something else you need. Actually, they say school prepares you to start learning. Actually, school prepares you to now start learning life skills. So whether you have had an opportunity to go to school, if you are lucky enough and you have managed to go to school, it's very good, it's very important. But if you don't make it to go to school, still you don't have an excuse why you can't make it in business. That's my take. Yes, school is good, but it's just a start. You can't say school can make you successful. No, it cannot. But it can get you started. It can help you, give you a footing and a place to start. But it's not enough. You need now to interact with other people in the industry and learn what happens in the streets. During our graduation, I said something that school, there is always a disconnect. It's actually a quote. There is a disconnect when the gown meets the town. When you graduate with a beautiful gown, and now you go to the town looking for a job. And that's where they got the word hustling, tarmacking, where people really tarmac with their papers. Because maybe all they're relying on is papers. Papers cannot, help you on their own. You need to get experience. And that's why I tell people, Look for places to volunteer even before you get a job. Look for places you can volunteer. Look for people who've gone ahead of you, you can shadow, and they can mentor you. Because mentorship is very key when you want to get into the job industry and even into business. Yes.
And for you, it seems like even when you'd be employed at a certain place, you still were unsettled. You'd feel like, I need to move. Because I'm looking at the fact that, okay, after all of this, you get a job with a church, with Pius Moiro, actually.
Yes.
And you're okay.
Yes.
Life is good.
Yes.
Work is coming in well.
Yes.
You're meeting all these people and making contacts.
Yes.
What made you feel like, okay, Paul, it's time to leave. It's time to move on?
There's something people call the gut feeling, that you've got to have this gut feeling that directs you. There's a compass in every person. And if you listen keenly, for those who pray, if you pray keenly, God can direct you and guide you when to make a move, because sometimes we make a move before it's time. Let me tell you, when I was still a junior intern waiter, I was actually an intern waiter, earning no salary. I had a dream to start my own hotel. When I was a matatu tout, I had a dream that one day I'll own many matatus. So at every given time, when we cleared school, you see, we had a dream to sell charcoal and turn charcoal into gold. So a dream is very important. And a vision guides you to how you keep moving in life. So that means when you dream, also it should be a very big dream. It should not be a dream you can afford on your own. It should be bigger. It should be a mega dream. So that's what guides me. And at some point, you'll always feel uncomfortable and you'll know it is time now. So if you listen keenly in your guts, you'll always know when time comes to make a move. And when you make a move, at times you even make a move when you're not ready. It's okay. So it's your gut feeling and knowing that it's time to go to another level. And when you keep dreaming and you keep meeting people, people challenge you and you feel like, wow, I can do better. I can move to another level. Okay. Yes.
Okay. And when it comes to entrepreneurship and business, it's an age-old debate.
Yes.
Are these entrepreneurs, these people like you, are they born or are they made? Because there's this aspect of the fact that you didn't have the chance to go to business school to learn all of these things. But even as Pius Moiro was talking about how you convinced him for you to come on board, he was impressed by your passion, your business acumen in what you're talking about. So this is a guy who doesn't know profit and loss and all of these things, but akili ya biashara ako nayo.
Ako nayo.
So are they born, are they made? Because you've seen both sides.
I would say they are more made than born. Okay. Because like I said, hard work is what differentiates people. Why I say they are made is if you don't have the passion, if you don't meet the right people. You see, for me, when I met Jogona, my life took a different turn because he started training me in photography.
Right.
So that means Jogona played a role in my life. So I cannot say, there's no one who is self-made. So it depends on the people you meet. So they are actually made, and anyone can make it. Because today, there are so many entrepreneurs who've never started a business. So that's why I can say, if you don't start, you're not in the right environment, you may never start. And someone said, in the grave, the graveyard is the richest place on earth, or the cemetery. Because in the cemetery, there are businesses that were never started. There are songs that were never sung. There are dreams that were never achieved. So the fact that you have a dream or you have potential in you, it doesn't mean it will come out. It takes hard work. It takes meeting the right people. It takes putting yourself in the right environment. So they are more made. I would say entrepreneurs are made. And you can make it. If you put your mind at it, if you focus and work hard at it, you make it. Yes.
And when it comes to also another important part of your life, your spirituality.
Yes.
How important is that as to what you do?
I would say everyone is spiritual. We are all spiritual beings living in a body. Your body is temporary, but there is someone in you who, your body is actually just, what will I call it? Is a container. So everyone is spiritual, whether you know or not. So that means you really have to have that spiritual connection that nurtures your inner man, your soul, your spirit. So it's not just for me. Even those who don't understand, you are 100% spiritual, living in a body. Your body is just a container. So if you don't manage to harness and connect with your spiritual aspect, you can never achieve your maximum, you can never, unveil your maximum potential. So we are all spiritual, and you have to have a spiritual connection that guides you, that keeps you going even when there is nothing to look at. Because I remember there is a time we were hustling in Nairobi, and food was a challenge. We could go for days without having a proper meal. Yeah? You get bread and strong tea in the morning, at times without sugar. But the spiritual aspect keeps you going. So you need to be stronger inside. And when you're stronger inside, like we say, when your mind and your spirit is strong, it can keep you going. You can even go when things look impossible. You can make a way where there seems to be no way. So it's more spiritual. Everyone is spiritual. And that's why at times we don't achieve the maximum potential if you don't understand that. And if you don't harness that spiritual aspect and connect with your spiritual self and a higher being than you. For us is God. For us it was through prayer. And it was even through prayer sometimes I could tell this is a direction to go. Right. And God guides you. Different people could have it different ways, but for me it's just through prayer and God guiding every step of the way. I wouldn't say it was just gut feeling and all that. It's God guiding you, in the way you should go. Okay. And
let's stick to that just for one more second before we move on to Atalanta Institute.
Yes.
Because when it comes to God, and now let's move to the gospel music industry.
Yes.
You've seen the evolution.
Yes.
You've been there from at the very beginning. You've Esther, Home, you were there, Kunadawa. You've been there up until now. You've seen the evolution. You've seen new acts come into the game.
Yeah.
And also, there's been a lot of questions and controversy about this gospel that you are in now.
Yeah.
Some songs, I don't know, tuna flash, Tanis, Kama Pupu. Very many things. What's your take on what's happening now?
I think this is what sometimes Waswahili call ni swala nyeti. So, because when we talk to many people, even at times with people close to me, even with my wife, sometimes we've had an argument of this is not the kind of music that should be done. And she could ask me, if you're called to give advice, what would you say? And I told her, this is what I would say, that to me, I know things are changing. They are changing pretty fast. And we've seen now gospel musicians do some of those music. And this is what I said. We have gospel ministers, but we also have gospel or Christian entertainers. And I may not have a direct answer to that, but I would say there is space for every music. For me, I would prefer my kids dancing to that entertaining song done by a gospel musician than some other music that are full of cursing and things I don't understand. So to me, I truly support even the gospel entertainers who do music. It may not be fully spiritual, but it's cleaner entertainment. It's more sanitized entertainment. I like that, and that is growth, and we cannot fight these young people. And I told my wife one thing, that these young people sometimes are baby Christians. They are taking milk. They are not yet, really taking meat. They've not matured. So we cannot judge. You cannot judge a kid by doing those games they play with sand and all that. They are supposed to go through that level. So some of this music has been done by baby, Christians. We must allow them to grow and to go through that. They can never start today and tomorrow they are mature. You have to allow them to grow. Let them do that music. Okay. With time they will grow. Just encourage them to keep growing. That if they do that, tuna flash Shetani today, tomorrow they will sing something else. But if we hit them, if we bash them and we tell them there's no way to go, you kill them. And they will go now to the extreme secular. We have seen that happen in the industry, where young people are not accepted in church. And so what do? They went to the other extreme. So allow them to do those songs that don't sound mature. Encourage them, support them. They will keep growing.
They'll win off that and move.
Yes, they will win off and move and start eating meat. Okay. Yeah, and that example of a baby is actually a very good example. Like we started saying, you have to start by even not crawling, then you crawl, then you try walking, supporting yourself. Then after that, you start walking, then running. Then now you're a grown-up. Okay, so is the journey of the gospel, musicians and any other Christian.
Okay.
Yes.
And even as we round up and come to a close,
Yes.
let's touch briefly on the Talanta Institute.
Talanta Institute is this amazing dream and an amazing project we did, because we discovered everybody has a talent, but raw talent cannot take you so far. And then I discovered, as I was producing music videos at Princecam Media, there are people who could come from college, and I had some of them to retrain them in hands-on skills, because they come with good papers, but they cannot do the job. We say where the rubber meets the road, they can't control the car. So we started retraining them, and I had this dream of starting a technical and vocational institute that focuses on practical hands-on skills, prepare people for the market, and not just hands-on skills, but also soft skills, also life skills. So what we train at Talanta, after you learn the practical hands-on, we also bring mentors who nurture you now in the soft skills. How do you communicate? How do you present yourself? How can you start your small business? How can you even start a business with no capital? So we nurture the wholesome person at Atalanta Institute. We say we nurture champions. We nurture talents and unveil champions. Right. Because we know in every man is a champion, or in every person there's a champion inside. The only thing we do as trainers is just to unveil that champion. It's just to reveal that champion, connect them with the marketplace and people who've gone ahead of them, so they are mentored and they're able to start. They get a better footing. They get a better start of their business and their career. Okay. So yeah.
Okay, that's some fantastic stuff.
Yeah.
If they wanted to get more information as we come to a close, where can they get in touch with you or find Talanta Institute as well? Yeah,
Talanta Institute is at Ambank House on 9th floor. We're also on Facebook, Talanta Institute. We are on Twitter, Talanta254. We are on Instagram and all the other social platforms. Okay. We have a website, talanta.global. And they can visit us. They're free to go to those platforms and contact us. Get all the information. And we'll be glad to nurture their talents, even help them discover themselves. Okay. And that's always the biggest problem. And I'll add this, because so many people talk about capital and where to start young people. And we normally tell them the biggest capital you can ever have is your mind, is how you arm your mind and your skills. With that, you can start from zero and become very great. Because there are people who start a business with millions and end up with zero. But there are also people, when you start with a skill and you have the right mindset, you can always make it. Okay. And so part of our training is also about the mindset and having them, really focused for life. Okay. Yes.
Okay. At that point, we leave it at that. Thank you so much, Bwana Paul.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for sharing your story.
Asante
and
sana.
we'll be using that example for the kid in times to come.
Amazing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Of course, the founder and CEO, of Talanta Institute, Paul Mukoma, joining us on Up Close and Personal.